Yul Brynner really hated him more than Anyon. Yul Brynner was born Julia Borivich Brynner on July 11, 1920 in Vladivostok, Russia. His early life was full of big changes and moving around. His father, who was a Swiss-Mongolian mining engineer, left the family when Yul was a kid, so his mother took Yul and his sister to China and later on to Paris. Growing up in Europe meant Brynner got to learn lots of languages, see different cultures, and experience all kinds of art. This life of traveling to different countries would later help shape his movie character, which mixed together mystery, charm, and power. Before he became an actor, Brynner tried out lots of different jobs and hobbies that made his latter acting even better. In Paris, he worked as a trapeze artist in a French circus and later as a radio announcer for the Office of Weather Information during World War II. These early jobs helped him get better at putting on a show, controlling his body, and using his voice well, skills that became his special trademarks as an actor. He finally moved to the United States where he learned acting from the famous Russian teacher Michael Chekhov, who was a nephew of playwright Anton Chekhov. This serious training in method acting helped Brynner learn how to show deep feelings that really connect with audiences and critics. 2. Brynner's big break came when he played the character of King Mongkut of Siam in Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I, a role he would make completely his own. His performance in the original 1951 Broadway show got amazing reviews, and when played the role again for the 1956 movie version, he won the Academy Award for Best Actor. With a shaved head and a powerful stage presence, Brynner became instantly easy to recognize and completely to the role. In fact, he performed it more than 4,600 times during his career, a record that shows not only how dedicated he was but also how powerful his performance was. His acting as the King was like a masterclass in mixing tough leadership with moments of being vulnerable, funny, and humanly curious. Beyond The King and I, Brynner's movie career was filled with a bunch of memorable roles that showed off his flexibility and screen power. Heston in The Ten Commandments in 1956 as Ramesses II, a powerful and arrogant Egyptian pharaoh acting opposite Charlton Heston's Moses. His performance was marked by royal grace, fierce competition, and a bit of tragic pride. That same year, he starred in Anastasia alongside Ingrid Bergman, and in 1960, he gave another iconic performance as Chris Adams, the tough leader of a group of gunslingers in The Magnificent Seven. Brynner brought a quiet heroism and a sense of fairness to the character, making his place as a movie legend even stronger. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Brynner kept having success in Hollywood and international movies. He took on roles in science fiction, Westworld in 1973, historical epics, Solomon and Sheba, Morituri, and dramatic thrillers. No matter what type of movie it was, he brought a special intensity and presence that grabbed people's attention. Known for speaking beautifully and with careful rhythm, Brynner often picked roles that dealt with themes of power, change, and identity. His shaved head, which he first used for The King and I, became his trademark and added to his exotic, almost otherworldly look, which was rare in the time of classic Hollywood stars when he wasn't working. Brynner was a man of deep smarts, charm, and complexity. He could speak several languages, including Russian, French, and English, and he really loved music, books, and photography. A talented guitar player, he often entertained friends and castmates with Russian gypsy songs. He published a book of photographs and was known for being thoughtful and looking inward, even though he had a strong-willed and Semeta personality. He was deeply respected by other actors for his professionalism, passion, and never-ending commitment to his work. Yul Brynner, the mysterious and charismatic actor best known for his iconic role as the King of Siam in The King and I, had a personality as dramatic and many-sided as the characters he played on screen and stage. He was married 4 times and though his first 3 marriages ended in divorce, each one left a unique mark on his life, adding to how complicated his public and private life was. In total, Brynner had 3 biological children and adopted 2, and each of them had their own place in his changing journey as a father and international star. His first wife was the American actress Virginia Gilmore, whom he married in 1944. Their marriage, which lasted until 1960, happened during the early years of Brynner's acting career, a time when he was still making a name for himself in the entertainment world. Virginia Gilmore, known for her work on both stage and screen, was a rising talent in her own right, and their marriage was seen as a powerful pairing of two artistic spirits together. They had one son, Yul Brynner, born in 1946. The boy got the affectionate nickname Eric at the young age of 6 as a tributato the popular and tough boxer Rocky Graziano, whose toughness and charm apparently made a big impression on the young Brynner. Brynner grew up in shadow of his father's huge fame but made his own impressive path. He became a well-known historian, novelist, and teacher, eventually teaching history at both Marist College in Poughkeepsie, New York, and Western Connecticut State University in Danbury, Connecticut. Rock was known for his smart insights and deep curiosity about world affairs, a trait probably inherited from his father's own worldly and multicultural background. Even though his parents separated, Rock stayed connected to his father throughout his life and later wrote about parts of Yul Brynner's life in his writings. During his first marriage, Yul Brynner had a notable and passionate affair with the legendary German-American actress and singer Marlene Dietrich. Their relationship started during the original Broadway run of The King and I, a production that launched Brynner to stardom. Dietrich, almost 20 years older than Brynner, was already an international icon Bython, known for her sultry screen presence and bold personality. Their affair, though it never turned into marriage, was marked by intense chemistry and mutual admiration. It lasted for several years and many people close to them talked about the deep bond they shared despite the age difference and the limits of their separate careers. In 1959, a few years after his divorce from Gilmore and during a period when he was one of the most wanted actors in Hollywood, Brynner had a daughter named Lark with a young woman named Frankie Tilden who was just 20 years old at the time. While Brynner did not marry Tilden, he said she was his daughter and gave financial support for her growing up. Lark was raised posthumously by her mother, and although her relationship with her father was more distant than that of his other children, she was still an important part of his extended family. Brynner's second marriage started in 1960 to the beautiful Chilean model Doris Kleiner, whom he met and fell in love with while filming the classic western Magnificent Seven in Mexico. Their wedding happened on the movie set itself, adding a movie-like touch to what was a whirlwind romance. Doris, born in 1931, brought a fresh energy to Brynner's life, and together they had a daughter, Victoria Brynner. Born in November 1962, Victoria's godmother was none other than Audrey Hepburn, a close family friend and one of the most beloved actresses of the time. This connection shows the level of celebrity and cultural sophistication that surrounded the Brynner household at the time. Victoria would later become a successful businesswoman and talent manager deeply involved in the world of fashion and luxury branding. Despite the glamour of this marriage, Brynner's relations with Kleiner eventually fell apart and the couple divorced in 1967. During the same time period, he was also romantically linked to Monique Watteau, a Belgian novelist and artist known for her surrealist writing and avant-garde style. Their relationship reported lasted several years from 1961 to 1967, which suggests a big overlap with his second marriage and shows Brynner's often complicated romantic relationship. His third and longest-lasting marriage was to French socialite Jacqueline Simone Thion de la Chaume, whom he married in 1971. Jacqueline, born in 1932, was Theodore of Philippe de Cressette, a member of the French aristocracy and the son of the well-known playwright Francis de Cressette, elegant, cultured, and well-connected. Jacqueline was a fitting partner for Brynner during the later part of his career when he was equally devoted toward family and a more refined lifestyle. Together they adopted two Vietnamese children, Mia in 1974 and Melody in 1975 at the end of the Vietnam War, during a time when many Western families were opening their homes to orphans from the war. The adoption of these children showed Brynner's humanitarian side and cosmopolitan values. The family lived in a number of places, but one of their most treasured homes was the Manoir de Cricboeuf, a 16th-century manor house located in the Normandy region of France. This historic estate, rich with old-world charm and surrounded by natural beauty, was a quiet sanctuary for Brynner away from the bright lights of the stage and film set. Unfortunately, even this seemingly perfect life could not prevent the eventual end of their marriage. By 1981, Jacqueline and Yul divorced, reportedly because of Brynner's decision to keep performing The King and I for another extended tour and Broadway revival. combined with his many reported affairs and a growing emotional distance from his wife and children. In a surprising turn, on April 4, 1983, at the age of 62 and already fast in declining health, Yul Brynner entered into his fourth and final marriage with Kathy Lee, a young ballerina from Ipoh, Malaysia, who was just 26 at the time. The two had met during a London revival of The King and I, where Brynner was on see again play Brynner and Charlton Heston. Though they were both giants of the silver screen during the golden age of epic movies with larger-than-life personalities and commanding on-screen presences, behind the scenes, their relationship was anything but friendly. The root of Brynner's deep-seated anger toward Heston can be traced back to the making of the 1956 biblical epic The Ten Commandments, where Brynner played the proud and defiant Pharaoh Ramesses opposite Heston's iconic Moses. While on screen their conflict was scripted, off-screen it became autorial. From the very beginning of filming, Brynner reportedly got upset at Heston's commanding presence and the overwhelming attention he received from both directors Cecil B. DeMille and Thepris. Despite the fact that Brynner's role as Ramesses was crucial to the film's story and carried a lot of weight, he felt overshadowed out by Heston, whose portrayal of Moses was praised as the centerpiece of film. This sense that others were favored quickly stirred jealousy in Brynner, who was used to being the main focus in his own projects. Heston's tall, imposing figure and booming voice also contrasted with Brynner's more subtle yet intense approach to acting, making Brynner even more frustrated. Brynner was known for his careful nature and strong sense of theatrical discipline, traits he developed from his extensive stage career, particularly his groundbreaking role in The King and I. He valued precision, control, and respect on set. Heston, by contrast, was famously confident and often seen as self-righteous. He had a habit of challenging director decisions and standing up for himself in ways that Brynner found arrogant and rude. Brynner reported Heston as pompous and self-important, a man who loved the spotlight a little too much and treated his co-stars as just supporting players in his personal story. This clashed harshly with Brynner's own belief in working together as a team and being professional. The tension between them got worse during the shooting of major scenes in Ten Commandments, particularly those needing extended rehearsals and complicated blocking. Heston's tendency to improvise or go off script from rehearsed action sequences infuriated Brynner, who saw such behavior as unprofessional and disrespectful. According to several crew members, Brynner would leave the set fuming after such encounters, muttering under his breath about Heston's Hollywood shoo-ins and his inability to work within the discipline of serious acting. The rivalry didn't fade after the film wrapped. In later years, Brynner rarely missed an opportunity to make a sly, cutting remark about Heston in interviews, often hinting that Heston was more of a showman than a true artist. He once said, "Let him have his guns and speeches. I'll take my crown and stage." The comment was a thinly veiled jab at Heston's later career as president of the National Rifle Association and his often over-the-top public persona. Brynner, who was a deeply private man despite his fame, had little patience for what he saw as Heston's theatrics both on and off screen. Even into old age, the mere mention of Charlton Heston reportedly made Brynner scowl. Though he shared sets and rivalries with other major stars, none made him as angry quite like Heston. Their professional competition was mixed with personal contempt, a bitter cocktail that Brynner seemed to sip long after the curtain had fallen. While both men left a permanent mark on movies, it is a testament to the strength of their real-life friction that Brynner, a man known for his poise and control, considered Charlton Heston the man in Hollywood he truly despised. Yul Brynner, the iconic actor best known for his commanding presence and distinctive shaved head, passed away on October 10, 1985 at the age of 65. His death occurred at New York Hospital, a well-known medical institution located in Manhattan, New York City, where he had been receiving treatment during the final stages of his illness. Brynner had been battling lung cancer, a disease that had taken a severe toll on his health over time. A lifelong smoker, Brynner was diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer in 1983. He had smoked up to 5 packs of cigarettes a day, a habit that led to the development of that disease. After learning of his diagnosis, Brynner became an outspoken anti-smoking advocate, determined to use his celebrity status to warn others about the dangers of tobacco. In a memorable and haunting message recorded before his death, which aired after he died. Brynner looked directly into the camera and said, "Now that I'm gone, I tell you, don't smoke. Whatever you do, just don't smoke." This teaching plea became a powerful part of public service campaigns, leaving a lasting impact on smoking awareness efforts. Following his death, Brynner's remains were cremated according to his wishes. His ashes were then transported to France, a country with which he had deep personal ties. Brynner had spent a big portion of his life in France and kept a strong emotional and cultural connection to the country. He chose as his final resting place the peaceful and secluded grounds of the Saint Michel de Bois Orthodox Monastery, a modest yet spiritual limpid site nestled near the small commune of Luz in the Indre-et-Loire department of central France. This location lies between the historicities of Tours and Poitiers in a region known for its serene countryside, ancient religious architecture, and rich heritage. The choice of an Orthodox monastery for his burial was a reflection of Brynner's Russian and Swiss Mongolian heritage and his connection with the Russian Orthodox Church. Though he had a complex and cosmopolitan identity, having lived in Russia, China, France, and the United States, he remained deeply respectful of his roots. The monastery, quiet and removed from public attention, offered a fittingly peaceful and dignified place for Brynner's final resting spot. His grave, marked simply and respectfully, has become a modest pilgrimage site for fans and admirers from around the world who travel to pay their respects to the man who left a permanent mark on stage screen, particularly for his legendary role as the King of Siam in The King Andy. Though he died relatively young, Yul Brynner's legacy continues to live on through his artistic achievements and through his personal crusade against smoking, a cause he embraced during his final days with the same intensity and purpose that had characterized his most powerful performances.